gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Kristal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back for another episode of this here podcast. And we got a lot of good stuff to get into as always. But before we do, y'all know how I got to start this show. Kristal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. It was very cold this week.
Damn sure was.
So it was an interesting filming week. But we got what we needed to do, what we could get, is more should I say. We got what we could get, and we're gearing up because we're gonna be filming we're going to be traveling to another location, kind of far away, and filming there in a new location. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. So we're all kind of prepping and getting prepared for that. That should be so fun. From what I hear, filming on locations, it's a lot. So I'm excited about that. And we had a snow day because we had so much snow. Not
heard about all
us.
that snow y'all got.
I was about to say, over here where we're at right now, yes, they got like 8 inches. I was so jealous. But down where I film at, we only got like maybe 2 inches. Now, I did get caught in the snow at one point. Like, I was like, I need to go get a couple of little things from the grocery store. Let me go in the grocery store. I went in right when the snow was starting. I wasn't even there in 10 minutes. I come out to a full-on snowstorm. Like, those things were like,
that's crazy.
I was like, I sent a picture to my mom. Yeah, but other than that, it was a pretty chill week.
Is it still snow on the ground over there?
No, it was gone within like a day.
Gone.
Yeah, unless there's an area. Well, here, yes, there's snow on the ground in different places, but down there, yeah, it was gone within a day. Like, unless there's area where the sun just doesn't hit it, you might see a little bit of patch or something like that. But for the most part, no.
It's so crazy because the weather. I feel like the weather just totally switched from over here to over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for the past 3 weeks, it's been like insanely cold, like bone chilling cold.
Yeah, our wind just went from us to you across the water.
It's like, and then it warmed up here. Like I went outside the end of last week with my big ass coat on, like usual, and I was like, God, hot. Goddamn scarf off. Like, it was crazy, but it was only like 40 some degrees, which will let you know if I'm warm and 40 some degrees, that'll tell you how freaking cold it was. And then y'all get a crazy ass snowstorm for like the 3rd time this year.
I know.
That's crazy. Like,
and
I don't remember there ever being that much snow in all my time over there. So like one after the other.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. When I first moved here, like way back in like 98, I remember every Christmas, like December, January time, we did get a couple of good snowfalls, and then it tapered off as I got older until it got to the point where it was like we would only have snowfall in January, February. And then I want to say in the last couple of years, like I think there was maybe 1 year where we did get snowfall, but not that much. Like, it's been a while since we've had a lot of snow. And I'm just so jealous that I've more or less been down in North Carolina experiencing it there, usually working in it, than being able to be up here all cozied up with my dogs and, hanging out with my mom and stuff. And actually, especially the big snowstorm. It's been a long time since we've had so many inches here. So it's still...
Last time I remember, I feel like I was real young. I know when I was really, really, really young, there was a like really bad ice storm that like was insane to see. Like everything that was outside was covered in ice.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like it was only 1 year when I was younger, but we had enough snow to like build a snowman and play in. But ever since then, bitch, it's been bare bones out there. Like, you get a little dust in here and there, or a little, enough to slide your car around in.
Yeah.
But nothing like what y'all done got this year.
I know. But it did melt pretty fast even here too. I mean, there are bigger patches here where there's still snow. Like our back deck that's not getting any sunlight. So we've got a lot of snow, but like on the ground and stuff like that, it's really patchy. It did not last very long either, because it's like you said, it kind of just warms. It goes from 1 degree to the next.
You go 20 degrees up
within
a day.
And I just saw a headline saying we were going to get spring like temperatures starting next week.
Of course.
I don't know. I
Of
haven't
course.
dug further. I don't know if they were talking about our area, the East Coast or whatever. But either way, I was just like, of course.
That's why
Still,
everybody over there is sick right now. Cause
I'm
the goddamn
surprised.
the flu. What y'all got? RSV, flu, COVID. Everything is just it's just freezing and thawing out and spreading and freezing and thawing out and spread. Like it's crazy.
I know. I've
My
been really
family was
lucky.
just down for the past week and a half behind the flu. They had what they call it, influenza A. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
gosh.
what other letters are, but they had that. And when I tell you they was down for the count, and over here too, a bunch of people have been like terribly sick. One of our one of the moms at the daycare, she was in the hospital behind the
Oh my
behind. I think
gosh.
she had the flu and pneumonia.
Mm.
Yeah, I think her flu developed into pneumonia or however that goes. And she ended up having to go to the hospital and some more girls. It's just like, oh, everybody's sick.
I've been really lucky. I'm hoping that's going to extend into when we, travel to our other location to film because it's supposed to be really cold in that area. But
Yeah.
I plan to layer up and just, like I said, get through it. It's like
Keep it pushing.
keep it pushing. Exactly. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's been good. I got my bangs cut like I said
Sensational.
I was going to.
The bang.
So
The bang.
I don't hate it. It got
I noticed it, but I
shorter.
was like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know if she actually did it or if I just missed something. But I noticed it, but I was like, I don't want to say that in case I'm wrong. She'd be like, what bangs?
What are you
I
talking
ain't
about?
gonna-
Yeah, no,
you
I
know.
did. I got them done. The first time she cut them, I loved the length of them, but my bangs will grow so fast. So I was like, I don't want to like lose this length so quickly because I don't know the next time I'll see her. I was like, so go ahead and cut it a little bit shorter, and that way I have time to grow into the length that I really like. And once she did it, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like she did it really cute and everything like that. And then I got home and the next day I tried to style it myself and it did not style it the way I usually style. Like it was too short. It was terrible.
Okay.
There was so much volume right here and then it was like sticking, like they weren't curling under and it was sticking out.
So you do a little bump on your bang.
Yeah, like when I typically do it, like I do it like it's more like a feathered, like they're very voluminous and then they fall behind, like away from my face if anything, but they're so short they can't do that right now. And then I can also switch them. I can like, me, I throw my hair on one side, I throw my hair on the other side and they'll go. They're so short right now they won't do it. If I try to do it, they're like, "Nope." This is where I lay. This is it.
Okay.
So I've been having to learn to style it more. Well, not more, but differently. And I don't know if I have the face length to pull off these middle bang type things. How it's at. My mom says I look like a child. So.
Yo, mama.
You can laugh.
Why I took a bite of bread just now? That was the worst time to take a bite of bread. Because I want to scream. Why would she say that to you, Crystal?
She said that. So, I'm going to live with them. I now know what I
think
look
they
like.
look sophisticated.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It reminds me of, what's her name? Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah.
Mixed with a little area, and you got the pony in the back.
Yes.
Yes. Bang up front, pony in the back.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it. It's definitely grown on me. For someone who's first looks at it, they might be like, "Oh, that's really different." I
think they look normal.
Thanks. I went through a couple of days where I'm like, I like it, I hate it. I like it, I hate it. Now I'm like, I don't mind it. I especially now that I've learned better at how to style them. But I am going to be more excited when they get to the length that I want them to get to. But for now, they're not bad. I'm not mad at it.
We're not mad at them.
We're not.
Yeah, I was about to say we're not mad at them.
We're not mad at it. But yeah, my mom says I look like a child. She was like, "You look so much younger." You're like, "Okay, mom."
Well, okay, what is different? If she said you look younger,
she still said child first time.
Okay,
and then she said, and then she said she switched it to younger. She switched it to younger.
I was trying to give your mama, some grace.
No
but
grace.
no, if she said trial, then yeah, she tried it.
And I don't think she said at all that she liked them. So I don't think she likes them. She just keeps saying I look younger, which is fair. Because the last time I had bangs like this or near like this was when I was a child. And my dad used to cut my hair. He used to cut my hair all the time. And he would give me very blunt bangs. And when I was a child, I didn't know how to style my bangs.
What's up with that generation and a harsh bang?
I don't know.
The harsh bang.
They loved a harsh bangs. And they didn't sit like this, you know, how they're styled. On me, I want to say there was like a split and they kind of sat off. They didn't look good. And I was a child, so I didn't know how to style them. And nobody else styled bangs. So for years, I would cry every time he'd go to give me a haircut because I'd be like, "Don't give me bangs, Dad." He'd be like, "Yeah, no." Oh, he'd always wait until the very end, and then there went the bangs. I remember the last time. I think I was like 10 or something like that. I go like stomping up to my mom, standing over here, and she's like, got the covers up. She's like.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
Mom, I don't want my hair cut anymore by him. I want a real stylist. She's like,
well, why he ain't give you a good bust down the middle? You know, split the shit back, straight back.
No, he thought I looked so cute
with the
bangs.
Well, I'm sure he's appreciating.
He hasn't seen them yet.
Well, so. I'm intrigued to see what he says.
He'll probably be like, I love him so much.
That's what I'm like. He gonna love him. Like,
he's gonna love him. Yes. No.
Child.
My mom.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
You ready to get into the mess?
I'm ready to get into the mess. And I'm starting.
Speaking of mess, I'm bringing the mess to you because I feel like being messy today. That lady real life told us in them comments a couple weeks ago that she ain't want to hear about your life no motherfucking more. Oh, the people don't know what we talking about because she deleted it.
I was about to say, did she delete? I don't know what happened to it. I made a response anyways. I didn't delete it either. I made a response anyways to let her know, like, hey, you didn't have to delete it. Like, it's okay if you don't like that portion. Not everybody's going to like everything about the podcast. It was a hit or miss. Like, there are podcasts out there that are similar to ours where they just do stories straight up. And they're very popular. And I get it. It's just not our style, you know, because, you know, we started this as friends who read these stories, not as people who just, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, like when we're catching up with you guys, we're also catching up with each other because we're very busy during the week. So while we text a little bit, we don't really text details about what's going on. So when we're catching up, we're catching up in real time with you guys.
And Kristal knows me anyway. When it comes to text messages and messages, I've ever since I have owned a phone, I am very bad at it. I'm very bad because I be doing shit and I don't really. I guess I'm one of the last of the generation that not really glued to their phones. And even when I got a phone, I just really wasn't glued to it like that. So I just don't be around my phone all the time. And then I'd be doing shit and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get back to it or whatever. So even if it would be hard to get, Yeah. So, but when I'm present, we're here.
Yes.
We're locked in.
Yes.
You just gotta get me. Yeah. Sitting down.
But I wanted to let her know that, it's fine to have that opinion. You've been sticking by us regardless, and we appreciate that. Yeah, so no hate to you. You didn't have, if you did delete it, you didn't have to delete it. It's okay.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, girl, it's no shade. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too. She was really like, because she did this whole, like, I don't even remember all of what it said. She was just like, oh, I love it. And she just like slid it in there. She was like, I don't really like it when Kristal does her and then continued on. It was like one sentence.
It was like, oh my God, I love the show. You guys are so sweet. Like, I just cherish the moments that I have with you every week. By the way, Kristal, shut the fuck up about your life, bitch. Don't nobody want to hear that bullshit. I was like, God damn. Like, you talking about the salty with the sweet, bitch. Golly. But it was funny.
Really did. It was funny to me too.
Don't let that embolden y'all to talk to us in your kind of way, because you will get blocked. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
However, That one was funny
Yes.
to me.
We do try to limit how much time we spend doing it, but sometimes we do, it's been a while, so we do get caught up in it. Like
Exactly.
it's we try not to go off on long tangents. You think you have it bad, you should see our earlier practice episodes.
Whew,
I'm just
child.
saying. I'm
This
just
is
saying.
condensed
So
compared
condensed.
to that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was my fault, y'all. I know y'all like, God damn it, Tammy. We was almost at
Almost
the
at the story.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna put on this episode. I'll put a story start at.
Oh, okay.
So people,
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, y'all.
All right. So my story is actually an update. Someone else had pointed out in the comments that one of the stories had been updated. And so I'm going to read it to you. So this is the update to the Am I the Asshole for Throwing My Pregnant Sister-in-Law's Groceries Away? This update is only a couple of episodes old. So if you haven't caught up in all the episodes, basically what happened was the OP's pregnant sister-in-law moved in with them for a couple of days while her brother was interviewing for a job, and her sister-in-law is like 7 months pregnant, and she decided to go out and get her own snacks to store within the house. Problem was that pretty much everything she bought had peanuts in it, and OP's son is deathly allergic to peanuts. They had an incident earlier in his life that really scared them, and so she was very concerned about having this stuff in the house, but OP's sister-in-law promised that she would clean up after herself, she would not eat it around the kids, and quickly broke that promise, and it essentially caused OP to basically throw all her stuff away, and sister-in-law was not happy about it, so she left, and it ended kind of with the brother being like, yeah, my wife shouldn't have done that and put your child, my nephew, at risk, but you shouldn't have responded the way you did, type of thing. So this is the update. I'm just going to read that title again. So update to Am I the Asshole for Throwing My Pregnant Sister-in-Law's Groceries Away? She says, mini update. Like some people had predicted in the comments on the other sub, Laura, which is a sister-in-law, did go straight to my family and started complaining. She hadn't twisted anything, told them the full honest story, and my mother was livid. She called me panting like she ran a marathon after she berated Laura to make sure my son is okay, so I can only imagine the riot act she read her. Apparently, even my stepdad gave Laura one of his disapproving frowns. My brother came back in the evening to get his stuff since Laura had only packed hers for some reason. He did apologize for what she did and said he'll have a chat with her once she's calmed down. She's been inconsolable. He told me that she's been crying since she left my mom's house, that she now feels unwelcome and unloved in our family, and he blames me for it. My husband butted in and told him that it's enough, that whatever she's feeling doesn't cover half of what we felt, and that she needs to get over herself, that I've been scrubbing the house from top to bottom for hours because of her actions. I did get a bit panicky and went on the deep clean the whole house, especially the kitchen. But anyways, my brother left after he said that there's no leveling with us when we're being this stubborn. Now that I've had time to get out of the state I was in, I do feel bad that she's stressed and feels unwelcomed in our family. That was never my goal. I've been debating sending her an apology, not for my actions because I stand by them, but for the way I went about it. I shouldn't have allowed this stuff in our house in the first place and could have been calmer about it after I opened the fridge.
You know, a self-aware queen. Because when she said that she needed that she thought about sending an apology, I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. Only because as she stated, she never should have let that shit come in the house to begin with.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was stuck when we first originally talked about the story.
Yeah.
And I don't think I mentioned it on that show because I've gotten in trouble for stating the obvious shit like that. Because sometimes people don't think that far.
Mm-hmm.
They really get caught up in like their first initial emotional reaction to it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I said it on that episode, but I'm glad that she said it for me.
Yeah.
Because that's how I truly feel. You should, if you know that there is a pot that you almost lost your child, there is no amount of accommodation in the world where I'm going to let somebody bring that thing into my house where my child is at. Like, because we don't know. I don't have eyes on my kid all the time. And having a little one now, and how much I don't know what. It's so much shit. Like it's so hard, to keep your eyes on your child all the time. Like
Yeah.
there's always a moment, and all they need is a moment to get
Mhm.
into some stuff that they're not supposed to get into.
Mhm.
So I don't fault OP for that, but it is something to consider. Like, girl, it wouldn't have even got this far if you had just been like, bitch, either the peanut butter gotta go or you gotta go. You and
Yeah.
your fetus.
Yeah.
You gonna have to pick between the two. Or you
Mhm.
gonna have to get you a good peanut butter jelly sandwich down there in the parking lot of the Costco. And make sure you wash your hands and stuff and hand sanitize before you come up in my house. And that way I don't never know.
Yeah.
But it's still on your mouth. And so see, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I would, but I wouldn't apologize for shit. But that's just me.
Mhm.
But for you, I can see why that would be the good thing to do in order to get the ball rolling. If you don't want this to be a important contingency between her and the rest of the family.
Mhm.
If you just want to be like, you know what? I don't even want all this drama. Let's just dead it right here. It's a situation. It was awkward. We probably ain't never going to see each other eye to eye. Like there's
Mhm.
always going to be this thing between us, but let it be unspoken rather than spoken.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think you're doing the right thing by sending that apology, but just make sure that she know, like, bitch, I ain't sorry for what I did.
Mhm.
I'm sorry for how the tides are turning on you,
Mhm.
especially during this pregnancy, because I know it feels 1,000 times worse because of all the emotions and stuff as a result of the pregnancy. So I'm gonna let you have this, girl, but don't
Yeah.
do that shit again.
Yeah. Yeah, this may be one of those things where the sister-in-law and brother don't realize the severity of it until it's actually happening to them and their child now that they're about to become parents.
Yep.
Of course, we don't wish that on them or their child. So who knows if they ever get to that point of understanding. But I agree. I think that she's for what it is to avoid this being bigger than necessary, especially if they're going to be moving into the area if he gets this job and everything like that. um I would do the same thing. I would let her know I'm not apologizing for me being protective of my child, but I am sorry that you are going through what you're going through, and that you know uh I could have handled it better or something like that. And just,
I don't know if I would say I would handle it better because, bitch, I
I mean,
handled it
that's
the
what
way
she
that I wanted
said.
to. Yeah,
That's what she's saying. So
yeah.
I'm
For
like,
her,
that's why
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
if that's what you want to do, that's, make it clear.
Mm-hmm.
I was justified, but I didn't mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to be this type of
All
thing.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I gotta apply myself in her position because
Yeah.
I
Me.
ain't apologizing for a
No.
motherfucking thing. Only
No.
thing you would get apology out of me is to be like, girl, I guess I ain't mean for it to be all this.
And I would probably be extra pet and be like, damn, bro, she ain't even pack your shit. She said, I'm going. I'm leaving.
Because she better than me. Because I've said it many times on this podcast, as my sibling, you finna get it before anybody else do.
Yeah.
So if you come up in this house on some bullshit, I'll let your wife slide.
Mm-hmm.
But you finna get it. Like,
Yeah, right.
she ain't getting nothing compared to what I'm about to deal you. Okay? So you better get your shit and get on. Because I'll put my hands on you.
Yeah.
Okay? Anyway, you ready to get into this next story?
Yes.
Thank you for that update, Crystal. That was great. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
for whoever found that update and alerted us to it. Please keep doing stuff like that.
Yes.
This comes from the subreddit r/Am I the Asshole, and it is entitled Am I the Asshole? Speaking of pregnant women, am I the asshole for kicking a pregnant woman out of her seat? And that is in quotes. Here we go.
Gonna need the context then.
Mm-hmm. So OP says, okay, so this happened a few hours ago and I've only just calmed down because I hate conflict. So basically, I was doing a long travel day, 5-ish hours, so I booked a train in advance to ensure that I had a reserved seat. for context, I think this person is from the UK.
Okay.
But I am very, very familiar with this type of system because we do the same thing here. And especially during peak travel times, you do have to pay extra for your seat. Because I don't, in America, people don't take the train and shit like that. So I'm trying to give y'all context for why this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very often that people won't buy seats just in case there are open seats, and they kind of gamble on saving that little bit of money,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a possibility that you're going to get your ass up out your seat by the person who has reserved that seat. So we continue. When I get on the train, a woman is in my seat, so I politely inform her that I think that's my seat, show her my ticket, and ask her to move. She checks her ticket and just says, "Well, I must be sitting in the wrong seat," and puts her head down. I say that it's my seat and I would please like to sit in it. At this point, her partner sitting opposite her starts speaking to me in a what I perceive to be aggressive tone. He suggests that I find another seat, which there are none because it's busy. I say, but I booked this seat and there are no other seats available in the carriage. He then raises his voice and says, "Well, someone else is in our seats, and my missus is pregnant." They're definitely from the UK. Mrs. Me missus is pregnant. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. If there are any UK listeners, I'm sorry.
Why?
Pip pip cherry and all that. Bottle of water. I say, sorry. I say I understand that I have a heart defect, which I do, and I said everyone has their own medical issues and reasons for standing for long periods of time might be difficult. And here I could be the asshole. I asked him not to speak to me in an aggressive tone and that I will make a complaint. He then starts swearing at me and I asked him to stop. Eventually, the woman gets up and allows me to sit there, and he continues to berate me, saying he hopes I feel good for myself and that I'm quite and that I'm quiet now that I have my seat. When really I stopped engaging as I felt there was no point. One of the men who was sat beside him offers him and his partner his seat, which is opposite me, and it's a table seat. Kristal, you know what that means. At which point he sits his partner down and then laughs and points in my face. Eventually, when the ticket inspector comes around, they asked them to move to their assigned seats, and she asked if I'm okay because another passenger made a complaint on my behalf. Even so, was I the asshole? Should I have left them alone as she was pregnant? And did I in any way escalate the situation? Reading British English is a little difficult. It's almost like Shakespeare. The way that they like inverse kind of the words and stuff is
I'm gonna go with not the asshole on this one because you didn't do anything that her husband wasn't willing to do. Because I did not at any point hear her husband go, "Honey, sit down. Let me get up so I can figure this situation out." They had to have a stranger offer their seat before the pregnant wife, could sit down.
Come on, Kristal. Comment, girl. This is why we do this show.
I feel like if I wanted to be confrontational, that's what I would have pointed out. I'd be like, "Well, sir, I see you're not getting up for your wife either."
Like you're sat
arguing with me while she's standing there.
Never got up. Not one time. I'm sitting down and you're sitting down and she's standing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and only one of the three of us has an assigned seat. So right. I'm not seeing why this is even a thing.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand how I'm the one who's in the wrong. Yeah.
You should have said, "Oh, baby, come here, sit down now. I'm standing." Mm-hmm. Like, are you crazy?
I think I would have more. If you wanted to cuss me out while standing, I would have had more respect for that. But you continue to sit there, all the same. And you could have just as easily gone to the ticket people and been like, hey, we had assigned seats and there's someone sitting in there. Instead of
Yeah.
stealing someone else's assigned seat and just creating this chain thing where everybody's got to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to say not the asshole.
I've been on both sides of this. I'd have been kicked up out the seat, and I'd have done the kicking of out the seat.
Yeah.
We done kicked whole families about our section.
Yes.
Okay, wife, and kids get these are our seats. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what I
pay
do.
for them.
Yeah, if I'm paying
And
for
I too
them,
have a child.
this is what I want to avoid. I don't want to sit there. If I'm told on the intercom, because I know at least here in the States they'll do this, they'll be like, hey, we have a full train. Or they'll be like, no, it's not a full train. Like, you guys can. That's one thing. Then I probably would leave it alone as long as I'm sitting in a seat that's similar or adjacent, or even if, you know, whatever. But if it's going to be a full train, this is what I'm trying to avoid. This is why I assigned my seat. I want a specific place for me to be able to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, because you're saying some people were in your assigned seat, that's what was your thought process when you came on and decided to sit in my seat instead of complaining. It's not my fault you didn't want to complain about the people that sat in your seat. I'm complaining about you.
You.
Especially because of the way you spoke to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
like, if the seat was so important to you, why the fuck you ain't buck up on the people that's in y'all seats that y'all pay for?
Right.
Like, why am I getting the brunt of it? That's y'all should have had it in y'all mind. All right, if somebody come, like, we gonna have to, you know, maybe y'all wanted to avoid the. I don't think y'all wanted to avoid the conflict because y'all had it with this man.
Right.
Maybe you just want to avoid it with whoever was down there because they looked like they was about that, and this man didn't. And for some reason, y'all decided to buck up on him. But as someone who has been in this situation many, many times, you know, when you sit in that seat, that's not yours. If you sit in a seat where you can, at least on the trains here, you can see where it's reserved from and to. So, you know, all right, if so-and-so stops, I'm going to have to get up, or, you know, maybe not. But you go in there with the mindset like, all right, I'm gambling. Let me be ready to get up. Let me not even stow my bag in the overhead. Let me just keep my shit with me and hope for the best, girl. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the times when I came to visit here before I moved here, this was years ago. You know, I didn't speak the language or anything yet. And I had to take the train to this city. And so I had the lady at the train station help me, whatever. She ain't give me no seat. And the train was packed, bitch. And I had all my bags and stuff, bitch. I stood up for that whole 2-hour ride. All the way here. Because I ain't had no seat. And it's hell, y'all. Yeah. It's the worst. Like on one of those like commuter trains, not like subway type of, like these are trains. And you standing up in between carts, like the whole way there. It's the worst. So I see why this man was like, bitch, it's finna be you or me, and it's not finna be me. So get your ass up.
Yes. And using your like ailments or whatever. Like, you never know what someone's going through. Like, someone could look at my mom and think she's perfectly fine, but she can't stand like that for long periods of time because they don't realize that she's been injured so many times around her ankles and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I understand, you know, most people will do the gentlemanly thing when they see a pregnant woman and offer their seat. Obviously not the husband. Most people will do it, but girl. This was not your fault, OP. You did what you did. You did not escalate. He escalated. The person who raises their voice and starts name calling and cursing, that's the escalation, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, not the asshole.
All right. Chris, you ready to take a quick commercial break?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, T here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Listen, we need you to do us a solid. We need you to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Share what you love about this here podcast and help spread the word about this hidden gem. If you have any stories that you'd like to share with us or anything that you would like for us to share on the show, please do so by sending it to our email, which is in the description for you below, or in any of our DMs on our various social media platforms. Now, let's get back to the show. And we're back. What you got for us, Kristal?
All right. So we're going to do something we haven't done in a while. I'm really excited. I got to open it back up again. And that is, I've got some Kristal queries.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Soon, when you got to the end of that sentence, I was like, oh, no, she didn't.
Yes, she
Oh,
did.
no.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do them.
I've got some questions for you. For those of you who don't know, I've got
low-key-
some. What?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
For anyone who doesn't know what Kristal queries are, it's basically me asking some insightful questions to get to know T a little bit better, since he doesn't like to tell us anything. It's one of the games that we play, and I really learn a lot about him, and I hope you guys do too.
All right, here we
You
go.
ready for this?
Getting in my business.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first one. If your life was narrated, whose voice would you want as the narrator?
Oh, immediately Morgan Freeman.
I mean, come on.
Immediately.
I
Now-
feel like that's a given.
Now, if it was comedic, it depends. Like if you're looking at my life overall, like from an observational point of view, Morgan
Yeah.
Freeman. If you're looking at my the details of my life and putting a humorous spin on it, it would have to be Red Fox. I don't know if you know who that is. Sanford and Son.
Mm-hmm.
Red Fox. He would have to be the one because at the end of the day, I'm just a country ass nigga. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've been a 60-year-old black man my entire life. Okay. And I feel like he encapsulates a lot of the moments of my life growing up in his voice to set the tone of what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like that would be that it would work really, really well.
Yeah. I think Morgan Freeman's kind of a given. Like, I mean, how can you not? That guy that does the Allstate one voiceovers.
I don't know him.
The Allstate guy, he's a black guy. But he has a really deep voice.
Oh, yes. I don't know his name though.
I don't know his name, but he'd be a good narrator too.
But see, I don't want nobody with too deep of a voice. Because Morgan Freeman, he has it's like a steady, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It puts some gravitas to it. The deepness is like, all right, nigga, this is annoying now. I'm not listening to an hour and a half of this.
Right. I think if I had a female, maybe I'd want someone who had an accent or something like that. For me, I really like Emma Watson's speaking voice. It's very soft, and she's got that British voice, so it's very sophisticated. So I wouldn't mind someone like that doing a narration too. I don't know who my comedic one would be.
Emma Watson is the one from Hermione?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I had the Hermione, I think for real was my first and I didn't realize it at the time, but that was my first. I feel like she was my first. I'm thinking hard. I think she was my first celebrity. Nope, that's a lie. That's a lie.
I'm not gonna say mine.
Homegirl from Spy Kids, whatever her name is.
Oh, Alexa.
You
Vega?
got your little yin yang run, whatever. But she was the first one that was like, oh my, who is that? Like, what was her name? Carmen on the Spy Kids? I can't remember.
I think her name
was Carmen.
I think Alexa Vega, I think, is her name in real life.
Ooh, your boy was smitten. Let me tell you something.
I'm not going to tell you mine because then you'll joke about my age. So.
And will. You know me.
And will. So, you can sneak that in there some other way.
Okay. I'll save it.
Going on the same kind of line, if you had to live in one movie or TV show's universe, which one would you pick?
One movie. Oh, okay. This is gonna be crazy, but Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Okay.
See, this is why I'm gonna be telling people my business. I listen. There's
What
a
is it
lot
called?
more behind this than what y'all see. Okay, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is high key one of my favorite television programs of all time. Like I connected with that show so heavy as a kid. Like I don't know what it was about it, but I love that show. I love that show to this day. Um that or Codename Kids Next Door. If I would have loved, but they both are like, I guess because now it's like I don't want to live in no goddamn world. I'm good here. You know what I'm saying? But like thinking from my kid brain, I would have given anything to be a spy kid. I mean, a codename kid next door. I would have loved to be number 5. Older, younger brother, whichever way I would have felt on the spectrum. I would have loved that. All the gadgets and shit they had that was all acronyms and stuff. But
Yeah.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, like you could go see your imaginary friend was there with you. Like that's crazy. I could have thought of any imaginary friend and they would have been my friend. Until I got older and I forgot about them. But during that time, it would have been lit. And going to see all the other, imaginary friends who were fosters and stuff, like, man, you could tell me nothing. And also, Andre 3000 had a show back in the day on Cartoon Network that was like a music type show. And I always love that show too. But immediate thought is Foster Home for Imaginary Friends. I definitely would have loved to be a part of that.
Yeah, my dogs are barking like crazy. I don't know any of what you were talking about.
Oh, and this is when I get to pluck it from the back. See, Kristal, a little after your time, there was a thing called Cartoon Network, right?
Yes.
Where they used to show cartoons. This is a while after. I know you know about the Powerpuff Girls and Tom and Jerry. I know that premiered when you were young.
And yet you still remember those too.
Or reruns. Yeah, or reruns.
Uh-huh.
We was catching the reruns, most definitely. What was the one that was in black and white? Was it Simon the Cat? Was that the black and white cat? Ask your mama.
I don't know.
She may know what that one is. It was a cartoon back in the day. Simon the Cat. Oh no, that's on YouTube. What's it was a cat back in the day that was in black and white. Anyway, I just remember my grandparents had it on VHS along with Power Rangers and stuff.
Okay, so I remember Power Rangers. Me personally, it would probably be something that is like some sort of fantasy world that's completely different, that has like magic and all that stuff. I don't know specifically because I watch way too many shows. But it would be within that realm. Like I'd want something that where like I'd get like a cool power or something like that.
You wouldn't be scared though.
Probably.
Like, I would be scared all the time. Like that Harry Potter shit seems stressful. I don't want no parts of that.
That would be a good one. That would be a good one. A Harry Potter world.
No, they would get snatched up by what they call them, demagores, the magas. I don't. They was getting snatched up. Them kids, they was 13, 12 years old. Get snatched up out their beds and shit. Absolutely not.
I mean, you learn to live with it. It's fine. Anyways, I got one of these little would you rather. It says, would you rather explore the deep ocean or outer space and why?
Girl, give me that goddamn ocean. Because at least there's a floor to the ocean. Okay, I got to stop somewhere. And I'm deathly afraid of water. I cannot swim.
I
Like,
know, that's true.
girl, just thinking about it, I'm getting claustrophobic. But the thought, I was just watching something the other day of this guy who went up in a B-2 spy plane. Very interesting video on YouTube. If y'all look it up, do your searches. But they essentially go to the edge of space, and I was thinking like, because the pilot was talking about, if you vary too much in pitch or speed or anything, like essentially the wings will rip off and you'll plummet to the earth. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, but what if you go up too far and you start drifting, bitch? You just out of here. Like, there's nothing to pull you back down. There's no propulsion for you anymore. Like, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I could not imagine. You just like on I was watching this show, Federation, on Apple TV. Very good show. Y'all should watch it. Kristal, I recommend it for you, bitch. It's really good.
Okay.
But there was a scene where they were supposed to jump from the ship down onto another ship, and one of the guys missed and just kept going. I would have threw up, shitted, peed, whatever I need, whatever fluids was in me, bitch, they was coming out. Imagine you just in that suit, you just know. You just gotta wait for yourself to die.
Yeah.
Or take your helmet off or something,
scary.
because you just gonna be out in the vastness of. Give me the water. Give me the water. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think there would have to be some contingency if I chose space. But I'm always curious what's in our ocean, so I think that'd be really cool to explore. Okay.
I don't give a shit what's down there. I'm just not going to space.
Okay, we'll do one more. What's a skill you don't have but you wish you could instantly master?
Piano.
That's a good
Piano.
one.
I do play 2 instruments. Ding. Or used to. And I have always wanted to play the piano. I've always wanted to do it. My mom actually gave me the option when I initially picked my instrument when I was younger. She gave me the option. She was like, either you can go with the instrument, and I actually started on the trumpet and ended up switching instruments shortly after. She was like, either you can go for the trumpet or I will buy you a piano today. Not a grand piano, but church piano today. And we'll get you lessons and what. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be the next Louis. I'm in my, I'm finna. I played that shit for like 2 weeks and then ended up switching instruments because my band director at the time was like, this isn't for you. She was like, you're not.
Even with all the practice in the world,
You're not gonna.
gonna.
And it was the best thing she could have done because the instrument I ended up with was the one for me. But she took that. I mean, literally came over there and took that shit off my lips and was like, "This is not." Tell your mother to return that. You're gonna play something else.
Oh my God. I think for me it would be languages. I'd love to be able to just very easily learn how to speak different languages. I think that would be a skill I would love to be able to just master, because they say once you've learned another language, it kind of gets easier to learn more languages. And there's people whose brains are just hardwired that way to pick up languages.
Yeah.
I would love to have that type of brain where I could learn different languages.
Yeah. Knowing another language, because I do know Danish. I don't see that. It's no. I haven't actively tried.
Yeah.
I tried to learn Spanish when I was younger. It went abysmally, and I just counted myself out for being able to learn languages and stuff until I had to learn this one. And granted, I actually went to school for it.
Yeah.
And had to go through exams and tests and everything to actually learn it, and living in it is different than learning it passively. I mean, learning it actively, I kind of learned it passively through being here. Um, but I haven't tested that theory, so I don't know if my brain just fucked up when it comes to languages or what. But
I would
that
just
is
love. I just
interesting.
feel like
Definitely.
I would. I just feel like it would make traveling so much more fun too, because I think
Yeah.
that's for a lot of people the scary aspect of traveling is not
Yeah.
knowing how to communicate when you're in a new place that doesn't speak your primary language, and
Right.
so to be able to take that, have that be one less fear in the world to worry about, I think that would be really cool to just be able to learn different languages.
Yeah. Because I would like to travel to Asia,
Mm-hmm.
but I've always said that I'd have to do it with a local.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going over there depending on, them being able to speak English or whatever, because I need the same thing with Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going down there. Y'all may look like me. I don't all that. I don't do that. That was lost in my ancestry. Okay. It's not in my blood. I'm not gonna be able to pick it up, like riding a bike. So I need a local there that's gonna tell me exactly what the fuck going
Mm-hmm.
on. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I can feel comfortable in the environment, because that's really why I haven't done it.
Yeah.
There is a lot of anxiety around it, and I want to make sure that, number one, I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But number two, that um I'm actually getting the experience out of it that I want,
Yeah.
that I'm going there for. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
I'm with you on that. That's a good one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. And those are my curies for now.
Well, thank you for that, Kristal. That wasn't too bad. Thank you,
Okay,
Jesus.
there you go.
I was nervous. I didn't know what the
Figured
hell you was about to ask me.
I'd ease us into it. We'll go a
Oh,
couple
girl.
episodes and maybe do another round.
No, hamburger and a hot dog. Okay. You ready to get back into other people's business?
Yes.
Sensational. So this story comes to us from the subreddit r/am I the asshole once again, and it is entitled, "Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend's mom cry because of a petty rule?" Get ready. So it says, so me, 20-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 24-year-old male, had been together for almost 2 years and lived together. His mother is very involved in his life. Some might say overbearing, but I try to be respectful. She's nice, but has this way of pushing boundaries while acting like she means well. So the issue, I have a no shoes in the house rule. My boyfriend is cool with it, and all my friends do it with no problem. But his mom refuses. She claims it's rude to ask guests to take their shoes off, and that it makes her feel disrespected. I'm trying to explaining that it's just a cleanliness thing, but she will not budge. Last weekend she came over and, surprise, surprise, walked in with her shoes on. I very politely, I swear, said, "Oh, can you take them off, please?" She kind of huffs and is like, "You're really going to make me do this?" And I just stood there and waited. She sighs dramatically, takes them off, and spends the whole visit sulking. Then later, I get a text from my boyfriend's dad saying that I made her cry, and she feels that I am just trying to assert my dominance over her in her son's house. Our home, actually. My boyfriend is on my side, but now his parents are acting like I've disrespected the Queen of England. So, am I the asshole for standing my ground on a very normal rule?
No, you're not the asshole, because it is. It's a pretty normal rule. And in some cultures, uh it is a respect thing to take your shoes off when entering in someone else's home or another establishment or something like that. However, if for some reason the mother is saying she feels disrespectful by taking her shoes off and all that stuff, and you want to keep your house clean and all that stuff, and your boyfriend is not able to get through to her that this is also a rule that he wants her to follow or whatever, then it's time to try a compromise. And they have these fun little thing called booties. They're blue, at least the ones that we wear at work. and you just slip them over your feet, and you can wear your shoes inside and keep the house clean. Is it the perfect solution? No, of course not. And if this was anybody else other than a family member, like other than, I would be like, well, then just don't come to the house. Like, just don't come. And you can still technically do that to her, but obviously that's going to be creating a rift, you know? So to keep the peace a little bit, I would compromise in this situation, because it is not wrong for you to want to keep shoes out of your house at all. And I don't think you should have to forego your cleanliness, you know? But there are solutions where you both can kind of get what you want. She wants to keep her shoes on, fine. You got to wear these little booties then. You choose. You can wear the booties or you can take the shoes off. Because I go through that all the time when I have to go to work and I have to step into the talent's house and they require us to wear booties. To me, it's a hassle putting those damn thing on and off all the time, and it drives me insane. So I just make sure I wear shoes that I can slip on easily on and off, and that's what I do. But yeah, I also understand it. Like, you know, at the end of the day, this is your house, and that's a little point of contention I'm a little upset about in terms of your boyfriend. Like, he seems to just be like letting you take this on your own. This is your house, like y'all's house. This is both of yours. So he should be backing you up more strongly, like not saying, oh, that's what she wants. No, this is what we want. Personally. But yeah, that's my opinion. I think you there's a compromise to be had here, and maybe do that. Now, in terms of making things right with, you know, I think this is kind of similar to our first updated story. I wouldn't necessarily apologize because you didn't really do anything wrong, but I would let them know, okay, I hear what you're saying. I'm sorry you're so upset about this. Here's a compromise. Let us both live with it this way. If they still refuse at that point, I mean, you've done all you can do.
I'm with you, Kristal. I will say the reason I picked this story is because I actually had this conversation with my wife maybe like a week ago, maybe. Just randomly we had this conversation because I was curious about something. I don't know how it came across, but I was asking her, like, you know, because I had never thought about it, because it's very, very normal thing here, at least, when you go to people's houses, you take your shoes off. And I think it's usually because, you know, a lot of people have hardwood floors and stuff, and like, I don't even wear shoes in my own house.
Yeah, me neither.
Because you've been here.
Yeah.
You step into the foyer and you take them shoes off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think we asked you to take your shoes off. It was just kind of
I was just about to say, honestly,
going with the flow kind of thing.
For me personally, like, it's actually my instinct kind of to take my shoes off in someone else's home. Like, you know, whether or not they require it or not. I mean, and it's also the same thing, like you said, it's kind of a go with the flow thing. So if we walk in and I see, you know, the person in front of me whose house this belongs to just keeps walking and doesn't take their shoes off, I might just follow them. But I think it's you know, if I walk in and I know I'm going to be staying a while, I think my instinct is to just take my shoes off.
Yeah, for me, I really have to see what's going on. Like, if I go in here and I see you ain't got no shoes on, and I see it's a whole rack of shoes over here, I'm gonna ask, like, oh, do I need to take my shoes off in here? And if they say no, I'm gonna go with that. So whatever you tell me first is what I'm going with. If you really wanted me to take my shoes off, you better speak up.
Yeah.
Okay? Because my first instinct is not to take off my shoes.
Yeah.
And that's the conversation that I was having with my wife. I was like, growing up in the country, you know, in the U.S., that was never really my experience. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we was coming over there, you know, we was going to kick it, whatever. Won't nobody really taking off their shoes. But I absolutely get it, you know, in my home. But the core of the conversation was, I think there are some people, because I think it's a very normal thing to want people to take their shoes off when they come up in your house, because, you know, it does track a lot of dirt and stuff from outside. But there are some people who kind of make it part of their personality to enforce that rule. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like the kind of people that's like, oh no, no, we don't do shoes in the house, you know. And it's like, damn girl, you ain't had to say it like that. Like,
Yeah,
you
right,
could have just
right.
asked me like, oh, do y'all mind taking y'all shoes off? We don't have no
Mm-hmm.
shoes. But have you ever been around those type of people
Yeah,
who are very like expressive, damn near aggressive about it,
yeah.
where it's off putting? Like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
fuck your floors, bitch. I come in here with come out of a muddy puddle and do a sea walk in the middle of your floor. Huh? What you mean?
Yeah, I get that. I definitely think it's all about the approach and the tone of voice. And I can see how where OP, because she mentions that the mother likes to push boundaries.
Yeah.
So maybe when she told her this, it didn't come off as nice. I don't know. She says that she was very polite about it, but people's perception of polite can be very different.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the same time, like I said, you've made it clear when she comes to the house that this is what you all do. Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I think it's an instinct. It also, like I said, it depends on the people. Like with you, I'm close with you and your family, so I know when I'm coming to your house, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be making
Yeah.
myself comfortable. So that means, if we're sitting on the couch, I might actually be curling up on the couch, which means sometimes I'll be putting my feet up on the couch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that with my shoes on. I'm imagining I'm staying a while. We're going to be either doing dinner or watching a movie. Like we're going to be doing something that is requiring us to feel comfortable in the environment we're in. If I'm
Right.
going to a stranger's house, I might do what you do. Like I said, I kind of follow what their lead is. If they don't take their shoes off, I probably won't take my shoes off. If they say, hey, Mike, do you mind taking your shoes off by the door? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she needs to compromise in this one and try the
Yeah.
booty situation.
Absolutely. I think that's a great suggestion. Y'all let us know how y'all feel about it. Are y'all
Yes.
a take your shoes off household? Do you have people in your lives who are take your shoes off households? How do you navigate that? Like, how do you decide whether do you have a preference? Would you rather keep your shoes on or would you rather take them off?
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd rather keep mine on because the shoe is part of the fit. Okay.
We've actually
and you're
joked,
breaking up my fit.
We've actually joked, I think, on the show, like some of the crew members, of getting like really ridiculous type slippers when we go to the house and wearing those instead of trying to deal with the booties and stuff like that. And maybe that's a compromise. Maybe have slippers, like these cheap slippers that people can put on if they really don't like not having some sort of shoe of some sort on. Be like, okay, I don't want your shoes in, but I have these slippers you can choose from, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's also a compromise.
I think what you just said speaks to the point of like, even if people aren't outright judging you for having that rule, people are keep judging you. I'm like, bitch, what's so good about your floors that I can't have my shoes on here? But it's a perfectly reasonable request.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of seeing it from the mom's point of view because it's like, girl, what's so good about your goddamn floors? Like, no, I want me in this bitch anyway. I can go home. But the mom need to follow the rules while she in your house. Anyway,
Yes.
let's move on.
Okay. All right.
We sick of this feet talk.
That's it. All right. Last one. This was from the best of Reddit update. So I don't know what it was originally, which one it fell under originally. So this one says, I, 25 male, have the chance to date my old high school crush, 25 female, but I'm engaged to my fiance, 24 female. What do I do? He says, I had a crush on this girl, Carla, since middle school going into high school, but she never paid me no mind. I left for the military and met Sarah, who is a nurse and wants to become a doctor, nurse practitioner. Sarah was the usual type of girl I dated. I left the military to do contracting work and moved back to my home state. One day while I was getting drinks at the bar, Carla was my bartender. She didn't recognize me, but when I told her my name, she couldn't believe it. She said she couldn't believe how much I had changed. I started becoming a regular and eventually exchanged contact information with her to catch up. Throughout this time, she told me she has had a crush on me, even though she knows I have a fiance. She says she likes how driven I am. Now I'm conflicted. She says that she will give me time to think about what I want to do. My fiance and I are doing great, but I feel like she's normally the type of woman I always get. Carla, I never had the opportunity or thought I would. I don't want to hurt Sarah, but feel like I would regret this forever if I don't pursue it.
I am. I'm disgusted. Okay. Because why the fuck are you like, you low key fantasizing over this middle school crush? Like, this is really weird to me. This is, it's hitting me in all the wrong spots.
Right.
I don't like the way that this sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You about to leave, okay, let me just get this. Let's clear the board here and let's reset the pieces.
Yeah.
So you telling us that you want to leave your fiance, and I'm not going to judge them based on their life paths because everybody has different life paths. Your fiance ain't no better than her because your fiance is a nurse, about to be a practitioner, and she a bartender. That don't mean shit. That don't, that don't speak to a person's character. It only speaks to their opportunities or the opportunities that they took. However, you lusting over this little middle school coochie? Because if we break it down to the bare bones, bitch, it's about that punani. You looking at your girl at home like, I done tried that and wore that out. I've always been wanting to see what this little middle school coochie is about. Let's stop. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Did he say that he didn't recognize her?
She didn't recognize him.
She didn't recognize, so he knew who she was.
Yeah. More than likely, he went off
Which
to
is
the
how I
military and
know
bulked up.
that he bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she didn't recognize who you were, but knew that you had a fiance, how that work, sir?
I think she's
How that
saying,
work?
I think he's saying like they've been spending time together since, like that's how they initially met up again. But like, I think time.
But he said that
time
she
has
said that she had a crush on him,
yeah,
even though he had a fiance.
Because he said he started to become a regular at the bar, and then eventually she said she's had a crush. She has a crush on him through this new period of time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the crush developed here.
Yeah. Here.
Okay, I wasn't clear on that. I thought she had a crush on him. Why? Okay, because I was about to be like, girl, somebody ain't doing the math right. But now, okay, the math is checking out. So I'll check that. But we can go in a whole different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are willing to leave your fiance today, you need to not go to that bar no more. You need not to speak to that lady no more. Delete her number, block her number, whatever you need to do, because that's going nowhere. Besides y'all getting in that bed and bumping nasties, it's not going anywhere. She's already told you what type of person she is. She is willing to undercut your fiance to get that middle school dick. I'm disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. Y'all are using that little middle school crush situation as an excuse to do what the fuck y'all want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to lay on top of one another. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And it's really grossing me out that y'all are tying it back to middle school. Let's not do that.
I have an update.
Okay, give it to us.
I have an update.
I'm about to be even more disgusted. Go ahead.
I don't know. You might get some satisfaction.
Okay.
He says, I broke her heart. I love Sarah so much, and I stupidly called off the wedding to be with my old crush a few weeks ago. Throughout the couple of weeks, Carla used me as a piggy bank. That's all I was to her. I spoiled her, paid for her hair, nails, etc. I gave her everything. I found out she used the money I Zelled her to buy a ticket for some guy to come see her. I'm sick to my stomach. I reached out to Sarah, but she feels betrayed and she doesn't want to be sloppy seconds, but she's not. I love her and needed this to realize it.
Let's listen to that. Let's play that last sentence back, Kristal. I love her, but needed this to realize it. No, the fuck you didn't.
No.
Like, you don't realize you love somebody after leaving them for another woman. That's not how that works.
That's not how it works. Not
You
after
realize
you've already
that you
proposed
lost
to me.
something good. You
Yeah.
realize that you gambled and you came on the other side way worse off
Yes.
than what you were beforehand. If you had just left that shit alone.
Mm-hmm.
What did I tell you? If you do this, there's nothing with this lady on the other side. She let you know what she wanted when she told you that she's willing. She don't give a fuck about your fiance.
Mm-hmm.
You got to read between the lines, gentlemen. She told you right then and there. Moral code, never heard of it. Never heard of it. I don't know who she is. Morale, is that some type of new dish down at the Taco Bell? I don't know what that is. I'm so happy this happened to you, sir. I'm sorry.
Honestly,
I am.
I was about
you got
to say,
what you deserve.
Perfectly. I'm actually super happy this happened for you. I'm glad Sarah's going to have someone who deserves her later on, because at the end of the day, why are you proposing to this girl if you didn't know you loved her? It took you having to cheat on her to figure out you loved her? Absolutely not. You got what you deserve.
Number one, if I was in his shoes, the first time she would have mentioned a coin to me, I would have been like, zip. All right, actually, let me put my shit back on. You know what? I was way out of line. I bit off more than I could chew. That is my bad. I'm sorry I led you on. Let me go ahead back to my wife. She waiting on me. She got a pot roast. Just put it on. I'm gonna go put that in the microwave and eat my dinner tonight. I'm so sorry to waste your time. Like, what the fuck I would dig down in my purse? I wish the fuck I would dig down in my wallet to give you a crumbled up ass dollar. Okay. Yeah. I got a fiance at home that I spend enough on. You think I'm finna come over here and wine and dine you, bitch? I want that middle school coochie. Girl, it's time to get out of here.
It's time to get out of here. Go ahead.
It's time to get out of here.
Take us out of here.
Well, thank you for that, Kristal. Mm-hmm. That was a good time. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast, late edition. Because they finna cuss us out again for this coming out on a Tuesday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review. Those are so important. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe on YouTube. Come and join the YouTube community. It's a good community over there. We have a good time. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story or something you saw online, you can do it in our DMs, or you can send it to our email that is teaandcrystal@gmail.com. teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on the Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Shout out to the Instagram. Y'all been Instagramming. Y'all had left us for the dead for a while. But y'all back up with that Instagram. Shout out to y'all. Now, Kristal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here, girl?
Yeah. Sorry again for this late podcast. That is my fault, sort of, because I know, but I let them know, you know, like I said last week, we ended up having a snow day, which pushed us having to film into Saturday. So that's literally the 2 days that we film, is either Friday or Saturday. So we are filming this on a Sunday and gonna have to release a day later, but we should be good for the next couple weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let us know all of the questions we asked and put your answers in the comments, and we will see you again next week.
Shall we?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, no hearts.
Bye, y'all. Okay.